to another live. Now, we got news. Another Trump assassination attempt. And the U.S. Secret Service shot. So supposedly there was a man, I believe, that was not too far from the White House. Another Trump assassination attempt. I just want to say this is not looking good. And, let me say this as you guys get in here. There's a lot of people, they tired. They seeing things for what it is. They are tired. The people here, they are tired being game played. And I said this in my last video. How do we find a solution? Doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter who's in. Whether they Democrat, Republicans, the die is always set against us. This is a serious thing Trump is, doing. He's playing with fire, and very hot fire. And see, I hate to say this as you guys come in here. Another Trump assassination attempt. U.S. Secret Service shot. And see, how do we find a solution to the problem? Because whenever the dissatisfied is dissatisfied, 100% of us is dissatisfied. And see, we are tired of this game playing. Because America today will have to do justice by us, or just let us go. I said America is in trouble. And I said God is about to wipe this nation from the face of this earth. What's up, my brother? Now, I want you guys to listen carefully now. Listen. How long do you think America that can do evil and not face the judgment and wrath of God. You see, they asked me this morning, well, how you feel about the president morality? Well, I said, what kind of president that we ever had that was moral? You see, the founding fathers of this nation were slaveholders. You see, they raped black women and gave them babies, but never of their own children. You know, when they framed the Constitution, there was never thinking of sex as a high crime and misdemeanor. The president, what he did with Monica Lewinsky. You see, my brothers, I want to say there was murder in his overall office. When you see the killing of kings and rulers, when you see the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, when we see an assassination of William McKinley, Abraham Lincoln, James A. Garfield. So when has this overall office ever been a moral place? So if my words threaten you, then wait till I finish. Because many of us today, we play with God. You see, we want God to be all loving and merciful. And yes, he's merciful, all right. But he kills people out from that very same love. And see, you can put Hitler, Genghis Khan, Tabla Khan, Tamerlane. You can put Vladimir Putin. But notice that they never killed as many people as God. But you see, God kills and destroys people out of his love for righteousness. And he hates us when we refuse to bow down and submit ourselves for his mercy before it's too late. Now, how many of us today have some good parents? So you had a good mother or a good father warn somebody in the community, warn a loved one, and says, hey, now, look, you're doing wrong. Now, please change from your behavior. Then all of a sudden, you get a notice in the mail that they was dead. See, at least you can say, well, I tried all that I can. And the reason why the young brother sing you a very sad song. And tears was flowing through this young man's eyes. Because, brothers and sisters, he done all that he can to warn you that death has now entered into America. We see one disaster after another. And all my brothers and sisters, get a grip. Now, what do you think this reign is? What do you think this win is? Now, what do you think the unusual snow and the unusual rain, the violent winds, the pestilence? You see, famine is on its way. And more famine is here. And Mickey D's won't be able to give you a burger. And the Bible says you just look at your own fat children. Very strange. And now, Jeremiah 50:24 says, if you like to be caught in her snares. See, as he set the snare for ancient Babylon, so we see today America is in that same snare of ancient Babylon. And see, brothers and sisters, this cannot be ignored. Because it been a year thou far that God has been pledging America day and night. And these storms you see today is coming from Almighty God, Allah. You see, our people have no knowledge. And the enemy is ready to take the followers into this fall of America. I said, America, she is doomed. And she's facing a divine prophecy. Now, like I said, if you like to be caught in her snares, as he set the snare of ancient Babylon. See, Babylon was caught in a snare. So America, she's is in a divine judgment. Her divine action is taking place. America, doom, fear. Now, Allah, God, and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, for finding and offers to sit us in heaven at once, our submission to him entirely. We fear the doom of America that is now cutting her to pieces. The prophecy teaches us that her doom will come in one day. Death, mourning came in one day. One day means 1 year. Even after that, she should be burned with fire. Divine prophecy is that America will suffer isolation from the nation of this earth. The Revelation of John of the Bible prophecy of America doom. America is spoken of under the savage name of a beast and dragon who oppose the messenger of God and all those who seeks to follow him. Beast, dragon are the name used to represent America because of their nature and their characteristics of this people, evil and hater of his black once slave. The beast or the dragon trolls woman seeking to destroy the messenger and his followers, the new convert. The messenger of Allah is referred to as the woman with a newborn baby, with a victorious beast like enemy trails her, the messenger of God, everywhere that he goes. The beast does this to prevent the messenger and his followers from making progress and making friends with his own black people who will help the messengers to convert and unite his black people, not only United States of America, but the whole world of the black nation, to fly out of our enemies who seek to destroy and kill you and me night and day does not just mean leaving America, but it means also to leave the ideologically and all that America represents. And the nation, Europe and Asia stood far away off for fear of a burning USA and for fear of a divine pledge. To you, my black people, the end is now. Who said that you are going any place? Heaven and hell are both a condition life. They are not places. They will make hell for you. God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, makes heaven for you and me. America has to her own doom. The ultimate aim of this world should be known to everyone, especially the righteous. We are classified the righteous as being the people who belong to the right God, the God of righteousness, truth, freedom, justice, and equality of the nation of righteousness. Today, the so-called American Negro must be resurrected and made to know, understand the fate of anyone who will follow or be deceived by the arch deceivers. The strongest and most powerful weapons the arch deceiver have at their disposal is to deceive the world of righteousness, the nation of Islam. They do not stop at the common ignorant Muslims, but reach also for the scholars and scientists of Islam, who should be aware of their trickery and their deceits. We are in a world that is passing out of existency, and she is putting up a fight war to destroy the nation of righteousness. Be aware to try to oppose the success of Allah's truth only has their doom of falsehood and its teachers. The world of evil makes its first attack on the world of righteousness, thereby clearly showing herself as being the enemy of righteousness. When she thinks she has built up a strong enough force to attack the righteous, she does so, which I have said before, hasting her own doom. Falsehood cannot be victorious over the truth, and the days of truth. The resurrection is a day of truth. The resurrection is a day of truth as a trumpet over falsehood. The arch deceiver forced war against himself. The ultimate aim is to do as the people always have done. Try to destroy the preachers of truth and those who believe and follow him. This was the aim of Cain when he slayed his brother Abel, and the aim of the dragon when he sought to destroy the woman, the messenger, as it is written in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. The lost found members of that nation should be taught to know the ultimate aim of this world. God have visited them and have prepared a teacher and myself to teach them, thereby making it easy for them to understand and recognize this world and its secret ultimate aim. It is even given in the Bible in Revelation chapter 12, 9. There it speaks of the members belonging to the righteous nation and shows that through deceits, Satan calls them to become as himself against truth, peace, justice, safety, security, one who will enjoy if he was now only deceived it. Under deceits, the weak-minded who have no understanding or knowledge of the arch deceivers, the devil, Satan, are made prey in the hands of the arch deceivers. This will bring about war as a showdown between the God of righteousness and the God of unrighteousness, the devil, that already had begun. God must fulfill his promise to show himself as God over all the power of heaven and earth and man on earth, as it is written, Thessalonians chapter 2, 9. He comes after the work of Satan. Satan had been given the power, knowledge, and authority to deceive as many as he could before the appearance of God, or the universal manifestation of the presence of God. He was given this power in the beginning, according to chapter 2 and 7 of the Holy Quran, according to the Bible, in Genesis 1:26, Revelation 6, 4 and 8, and Revelations 12, 3 and 4. We have known all our life that the devil was a great deceiver, an enemy of God, and that he wished to be the victors with his knowledge of superior art and deceiving the people of God. Hanging in there, fast and hanging in there, my brother. He desired, my brothers and sisters, to cast them down and disgrace them and make them accept deceits before the very face of God and the general resurrection of the dead. The so-called American Negro, as I have repeatedly taught in my article, sermon, and lecture to my people, are spiritually dead. They have been touched and paralyzed to death by the arch deceiver through his missionary teachings, his literature, his personal conversation, and by accepting his advice. God has given to me a very strong and unbeatable truth that will defend, protect, and prevent you from falling victims to the arch deceivers. Read these and treasure them. They are your life. Ignore them. It is your death. That's why the Revelation gives us, if we read chapter 12, verse 4 in the Revelation, there was a woman that was carrying a child. And the child was to make his presence felt, to be amongst God's people. And you see, ever since the devil been here, my brothers and sisters, 6,000 years on this earth, there has been one war after another. So I want to say, you got to listen to me. You cannot live with them in peace, because peace was never in the nature of the right race that he comes to destroy. Now, I'm not trying to teach hatred, but they had enough time. And that's why I say, will America repent? And see, I doubt it much, my brothers. I doubt that she will repent so that she can get the extension of time, that God can prolong her time. But she's not going to do the right thing. So the arch deceiver forced war, my brothers and sisters, against themselves. You see, the ultimate aim is to do as the people always have done, to try to destroy the preachers of truth and those who believe and follow him. See, this was the aim of Cain when he slayed his brother Abel, and the aim of the dragon when he sought to destroy the woman, the messenger, as it was written in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. The lost found members of that nation should be taught to know the ultimate aim of this world. God has visited them and prepared a teacher in myself to teach them, thereby making it easy for them to understand and recognize this world and its secret ultimate aim. It is even given in the Bible in Revelation 12:9. There it speaks of the members belonging to the righteous nation and shows that through deceits, Satan calls them to become as himself against this truth, peace, justice, safety, security. One who would enjoy if he only were not deceived it. Under deceits. See, the weak minded who have no understanding or knowledge of the arch deceivers. The devil, Satan, are made prey in the hands of the arch deceiver. This will bring about war as a showdown between the God of righteousness and the God of unrighteousness, the devil. It already had begun. God must fulfill his promise to show himself as God over all the power of the heavens and earth, and man on earth, as it is written, Thessalonians chapter 2:9, come after the work of Satan. See, Satan had been given the power, knowledge, and authority to deceive as many as he could before the appearance of God or the universal manifestation of the presence of God. He was given this power in the beginning according to chapter 2 and 7 of the Holy Quran and according to the Bible in Genesis 1:26, Revelation 6:4 and 8, Revelation 12:3 and 4. We had known all our life that the devil was a great deceiver, enemy of God, and that he wished to be the victors with his knowledge of art and deceiving the people of God. He desired to cast them down, disgrace them, and make them accept his deceits before the very face of God and the general resurrection of the dead. The so-called American Negro, as I have repeatedly taught in my article, sermon, and lecture to my people, are spiritually dead. They have been touched and paralyzed to death by the arch deceivers through his missionary teachings, his literature, his personal conversation, and by accepting his advice. God has given to me a very strong and inviolable truth that will defend, protect, and prevent you from falling victims to the arch deceiver. Read these and treasure them. They are your life. Ignore them. It is your death. The great days, the terrible days of God. We must not forget how we are warned by prophecy for 100 years and for 1,000 years that an end must come to this world. So now we must remember that no time passed with God. For the day with the Lord is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. So the Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some count slowness, but he is very patient towards you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Let's go. See, today, my brothers and sisters, the rulers of this world must be removed, and the crown must be taken off and placed upon another head, and it will rule in justice and righteousness. The people of this world have now become so wicked and so fearful of the consequences of their own rule until the almost thoughtless vision is gone and the fearfulness had taken hold of the people. Their heads is going to unfold to the nation of the earth to find a way of peace between the heads of the nation. A great time, a terrible sometime, a terrible time. The hearts of the people are beginning to weaken and to fail because of what is going on and what they see is coming. Now, he's like a hated bird now. See, whenever they go to these foreign countries and trying to find peace, you see peacemakers will say peace, peace. When you see there's no peace. So he goes to foreign countries and discusses himself with all other foreign countries. So he's hated today. He's like a bird, and he's hated by all other foreign birds. He's hated today. You got to understand, friendship is speeding her doom. And when no one wants to sit with her, and why you think, listen, why did you think Alinsky said, yeah, you have beautiful oceans? He's not posing a threat. But what's coming? What's coming to America? See, these pledges are in process. And that's why I said, whenever you see the fire fed with feud, each and every day these pledges are continue to be in process. So I want to say, their heads is going to unfold to the nation of the earth to find a way of peace between the heads of nations. A great time, a terrible sometime, a terrible time. See, the hearts of the people are beginning to weaken and to fail because of what is going on and what they see is coming. America and her people have lived so rich and so joyfully in wickedness, murder, robbery, hatred of one another, until I harden their hearts so much that they are made to think that they can make friends and live on with those upon whom they have no mercy. They crushed all the weak nations of the earth with their powers and brought them to the clutches of slavery. They forced all nations to bow. They pushed their borders around the earth as the kings did in his day and time. But in those days, the king boasts and think over it. See, England made that same boast. See, England used to boast that the sun did not set on an empire. Take a look at England today. There is no British empire for the sun and the moon to set on. This May 30, 1972, the radio news announcer says that they found mines in the Chicago River. This make it all get more frightening. If a mine should blow a ship up in the city limits, it would be dangerous to the life of people. Just think over this. The Chicago River runs to the downtown sections of Chicago, Illinois. No one wants to frighten the people more, but the frightening of the people sometimes does good. The great days, the terrible days, people are just being shot down on the streets, right in their homes or while walking the streets. They are blown down as though their life are nothing. The great days, the terrible days. America dreaded destiny. America and her people have been here, according to the history, since a few years after Columbus, the explorer. She conquered the Red Indians, the original owners of the land, whom she found here, and took it for a home for herself and kind. She has continued conquering until her conquering powers have gone around the earth, affecting every civilized nation submission to her will. She was successful in forcing other people to bow to her will, whether they like it or not. Now it is the hands of God which is after America to force her into submission, a hand from which we have no defense, as it is written and prophesied in the Bible under the name of Babylon. Jeremiah 51:25. Behold, I'm against you, O destroying mountains, said the Lord, which destroyed all the earth. I will stretch out my hand upon you and roll you down from the rock, and will make you a burnt mountain. Jeremiah 51:53 says, though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she shall fortify the heights of her strength, yet from me shall spoils come into her, said the Lord. America is under a destruction similar to that of ancient Babylon in the Bible. Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Revelation of John prophesied there concerning her. Babylon, their mention, is a future Babylon, and not Babylon of the past. America have enslaved all of the so-called Negro, and her evil mistreatment of them is similar to ancient Babylon enslavement and mistreatment of the Jews, according to the scriptures. It took the hands of God to bring the king of Babylon and his people into submission to the power of God. He brought the surrounding kings and their power against ancient Babylon and their prime, the heights of her glory, the handwriting on the walls, the casting it down, and its followers, until the fierce furnace, making drunk the people of God with their strong wine, and then mocking them. So has America done to the so-called Negro. America makes him drunk with wine, whiskey, and beer, and then laugh at him. She put him into the fierce furnace, burned him at the stake, while sitting around with her families, drinking intoxicant drinks, laughing at the burning flesh of God's people. There is no justice whatsoever, as the Revelation gives it. She made all the world drink of the wine of her fornication. But the end is coming to such evil doing. America have lived in peace so far as forging war is concerned. She had destroyed other people in their towns and cities. She had leveled them to the ground. She still prepared to do the same with her great stockpiles. She says she has enough bombs and destructive weapons to destroy all human beings on the face of the earth 3 times. Still has some left. Of this she boasts. But Allah God has said to me that he will destroy America and bring her to her knees in humiliation. The destruction sent to ancient Babylon, recorded in the Bible, is the answer to most of what he has said to me will come upon the now rich America. Rain, hail, snow, earthquakes. These weapons all belong to God. America, how do you fight an army like this? The aforementioned weapons of Allah God cannot be ignored. The whole year had been a year thou far of Allah God, pledging America day and night with storms, rain, flood, killing and destroying properties. And now the coming winter, hell had been falling, in some place the size of golf balls, baseball, and footballs. The rain continued to fall in places, and a dreadful snow blizzard is now in the working. A cold wind is brewing in the north to come against America, as it is written and prophesied it in Joel 38, 22, and 23. Have you entered into the treasure of the snow? Have you seen the treasure of the hell, which I have reserved it against the time of trouble, against the days of battle and war? Earthquakes are now again to be recognized, touching America lightly. But nevertheless, they are here with all of her wealth in preaching of Christianity. She has not been a good Christian herself. As Jeremiah says, arise, get you up into the wealthy nations that dwelt without care, said the Lord, which has neither gates nor bars, which dwelt alone. This corresponds to America. She lives situated between the 2 greatest bodies of water of the earth, the Atlantic and the Pacific. And she is very careless. She rejoices in her evil filth as though she is self-protected from the divine hands of God. Jeremiah 50:31 prophesies, behold, I'm against you, most proud, said the Lord, God of hosts. For your days is come, the time that I will visit you. Allah God is visiting America with great destruction. which he has to pour upon the wicked America. After the mistreatment of the so-called Negro for 400 years, he desired now to deceive them and to cause them to suffer with her, to share her doom. Jeremiah 50, verse 6, my people have been lost sheep. The shepherd has caused them to go astray. The white and black preachers of Christianity had turned them away on a mountain. They had gone from a mountain to hill. They had forgotten their resting place, their native people and country. Jeremiah 50, verse 7, all that found them have devoured them. An adversary says, we fear not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Since the white man have made the so-called Negro as wicked a person as himself. Now these are the words that he speaks. They are just as evil as we. So therefore Allah guides against them too. The so-called Negro repeat the same and says the white man is no worse than the so-called Negro. The white man has opened all of his doors and avenues of temptation to lure the Negro in for total destruction. Again, we have a warning to lead a people with whom God is angry, as the people of ancient Babylon was warned to do. Jeremiah 51, 45, my people go out of the midst of her and deliver every man his soul from the furious anger of the Lord. All of the pledges, destruction, and judgment which Allah God used to destroy the wicked and disobedient from the time of Adam until this day will be brought upon America. Then she will be burned with fire. This is the time of trouble that shall bring America into insanity. The dreadful times of America. America, especially North America, have entered into the time that was predicted by Moses and the prophet between him and Jesus. In the 24th chapter of Matthew, there's a prophecy made by Jesus of the present time of America without mentioning her name. He referred to the country as a world because this part of the earth is referred to in many places by the prophet and by Jesus himself as a wilderness. The name America is not yet 500 years old, so the prophet referred to it as a wilderness in a prophecy. It is terrific. I use the word terrible because it is not a thing that can be described as something mild or something that is moving slowly, nor something that can be recognized so easily by the common people. It is clear to all who can see that America has reached the stage about which she has always had been warned. She always have wanted to keep it a secret because of her so-called Negro slave. She never desired for the slave to know too much of what was in store for her because of enslaving, mistreating her slave. She has weared them for the past 400 years, and she knows them. She knows how they think, how they react to her teachings, and she knows the fear of her, and she knows the slave, but the slave do not know America, their slave master. The great, dreadful, and awful day, doom, is now in the door and window of America, and of the church, the religion of America. As long as Christianity works, America thought she was safe, because it is one of the most deceiving and upright misleading religions of the world. Allah, God taught me that if carefully examine everything in the religion of Christianity is designed to make a slave out of black people. If Christianity was a red rag and wrung out, every drop would write slavery for the black man. See, the world knows This now, but the spiritually blind, deaf, dumb American so-called Negro, to whom I am calling and appealing to reason, I'm calling them to reason with me on the truth and their own starvation that is now in truth of self and kind, an enemy of self. There will not be an end to the carcasses between black and white in America and throughout the world until wrong, evil, murdering, deceiving, robbing the poor black man of the earth is destroyed and righteousness and justice are practiced. This is the day of God Almighty to set up justice and equality throughout the earth. He is to free the black man, the American so-called Negro, from his deceitful, evil, and murderous enemies. America wished to oppose Allah God in his work of bringing justice and freedom to a one slave. But this is just what Allah God wants. Allah wants America to attack him, to get the fight started, and to bring his judgment against her with the fullness of his strength and power. America is bringing about the political gloom. Here, the politicians are unable to carve out a future for America. The plan of deceiving the so-called Negro politicians to work against their own freedom, justice, and equality, starvation. That Allah God has brought to them is making the so-called Negro in high office become the enemy of his own people, freedom, justice, and equality. Such office are held out as a bribe to get black politicians to work against the spread of the truth of their starvation. They are happy and their boss knows that they are. To have a place near him in such office just for the purpose of trying to oppose Allah and his messengers and freeing the poor black man who is in the mud. This is causing the political confusion and complete destruction of the house divided against itself. I'm asking in the name of Allah that the American governments agreed on the separation of her one slave and their master. Of course, Allah God is significant. We want a home on this earth we can call home. We do not want to be slaves anymore to white people. We do not want to be free Uncle Toms for white people. We want to do something for ourselves and go for self. However, America with her blind, deaf, dumb politician class of the so-called Negro will bring a swift destruction upon their heads along with their doom that is enviable against the enemy. It is not 20 years in the future, nor 15 years. Let no one deceive you. It is here at our doors now. The dreadful pledges and confusion of America are beginning to boil. The feud making it boil will not crease until it boils down to the last of the dregs. The present promise of a better future that America is making to the so-called Negro will prove to be false. And all for false promises to the American so-called Negro will be short life by both, because the time of her doom has approached it. America will have to do a marvelous thing of justice, a square deal to turn it back, a fascinating show attempting the Negro to filth and evil will not work. It takes justice to work, to postpone the dreadful days of America. America lost a war. Friendship is speeding her doom. The lewd before the storm. I'm afraid for you that you will receive what the people before you did receive. Allah God is very angry with America and the trichology that she had used on the dead to keep them dead. You are very disappointed to Allah God and to the original black man who knows himself, and few, of course, the false show of a glorious future that the wicked is put on is at hand. You must remember Daniel prophecy that at the end of the war, desolation are determined. Before this happened, Allah God will bless the people with a good time. And see, did the people of the past ruin themselves, who did not pay attention to the prophet warning amongst them. Allah God destroyed them. They thought that they were fooling Allah God, but Allah God surprised them. He made the people rejoice for a short time with a show of great prosperity. And at the heights of their great prosperity, suddenly he destroys them. This is the merciful law that Allah has put in nature. Allah God let a dying person rally before the end. See, America is going to do the same. America rally, and people would think that she is going to have a great future. And then the end will come in that kind of time. American end will not come while she is going around with her head hanging down, with her heart itching and failing because of the things that are coming on her nations. No, she will be made to enjoy good times. The stock markets are going up and lots of shares being sold. See, this make any man thinks that everything's all right, but this is only the lube before the storm. And the Bible warns America of what happens before her. See, ancient Babylon enjoyed a full ruling position at her time, but King Darius came against her at the time of her full enjoyment of wealth, drunkenness, and her laughing at the slave that she had made of Israel. King Darius came with his army, overcame the sleeping guards who were sleeping on the security of their life. The Bible prophesies that the enemy will say, "Come, let us go up, destroy her whose cities is not fenced in." And they will come from afar. They may come at noonday, or they may come at the rising in the morning or in the afternoon. But nevertheless, they will come at a time that you thought not. After the war and into the end of the war, desolation are determined. And that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Daniel 9:26 and 27. I want you to know that that which will be poor means it is the privation of you, America, of you ever getting back into power again to attack the nations of the earth. You will become one of the worst war areas of all the world, more dreadful than Vietnam and other places that you are planning on going into. Asia will look like child's play when compared to what is going to happen in Europe. The prophet says, "Whom to the land that shallow with rings." This refers to America, whose skies is filled with plains. Most of all other judgment and trouble which are pointed at in the Bible are pointed at America. Study them for yourself. America right up to today, with all of her battles with her outside enemy, never loses sight of the inside of a poor old black slave. She does not want him to do anything. She wants him to be deceived. She does not want him to accept his starvation that Allah God is often the black one slave here in America. Allah God is often the black one slave heaven at once. This he hath proven to everyone that believes in Allah God and follow me. I am the door. By no means can you get by except you come by me. Your prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. I'm saying that you cannot get a prayer through to Allah God unless you mention me in your prayer. Try it and see. I'm satisfied that those who know this will bear me witness. I have the keys to your starvation and I have the keys to your hell. I can if you will let me pull you out of hell and set you into heaven. Then I can keep you in heaven. Or I can keep push you and push you into the punishment of hell until you acknowledge that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Allah Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, and that Elijah Muhammad is his servant. There is no escape for you today. The only way is through me, is through Allah God. Me first, for you cannot get to Allah God without getting to me first. The deluge before the storm. America is trying with all of her might to hinder you from getting into heaven. America make promises to you, and she makes promises to me, but she does not intend to fulfill them. Some of America financial people promise to loan us millions of dollars, but when it comes time to do so, they vanish. But the day will come when we will be able to do the same things to them. It is entirely up to them to make good of this day for themselves and their people by submitting to the truth themselves, as the Bible says. The Gentiles shall come to the light of your rising. America wants to destroy God and me, and she wants to destroy you by deceiving you against following me. America lift up all my hypocrites and advise you to follow them, while she knows that you will be the losers. Look what she had done for Malcolm. America named universities after him in order for you to follow Malcolm. Malcolm turned from Allah, God, and me and started to follow them. America will lift up any one of you that will disobey Allah, God, and myself, and come to them. You see how they are doing? Everyone that's a hypocrite to Allah, God, and me. America raised him up for you to follow. America will glorify his name. Malcolm was no lover of white people. He only lies to them in order to get a chance to fight me. But he was not a lover of them. Malcolm was a double crosser. He tried to get to me with the help, as it is written and prophesied that he would do. His name is not written there in the name of Malcolm. In the history, another name is used, but his work is there in the history of the hypocrites of the life of Muhammad. He tried to take advantage while Muhammad was sick. You find this in the writings of Washington Irving, even some scientist writers of Islam. They can tell you Malcolm history. But the enemy fools you. He did not like Malcolm, but with Malcolm working against me, he used Malcolm. They knew that Malcolm had learned the history of me, and he was not able to change it. And even if the enemy would glorify them, they would come to nothing. For the time as ruling power over black people is up. They knew that better than Malcolm did. They set up for worship all hypocrites against me. Suppose we will worship China and Russia against them, but we do not worship them. For Allah God is more significant than all their nations. Allah God does not see them as a power and force against him. They are so little and weak in their powers. They cannot fight against Allah God and win. The more you fight against Allah God, the more you will lose yourself. From the Bible and from this chapter and from now on, if you do not know that he is tricking you, but making you to follow hypocrites, it is your doom. Just watch it. He trails me. He goes down to the Bahamas. Everywhere that he thinks that I'm going, or where I have been, this is written. I do not fault him for doing what is written of him. I try to do that which is written of me. I do not fault you for what he is made by nature to do, nor shall he fault me for what by nature I am. But I fault you if you let this little transgression of this life and our enemy deprive you of a great future for yourself. We can buy hospitals and places to educate and train our people into the superior education of the nation of the earth. But you rather give your money to white America and let them spend it on what they want to, and they pay you a little interest. We offer interest too, the highest of interest, but you do not trust us. So we will build right along without your help. We are going to be the winners. And it's prophesied that we who believe will be the winners. And my work that was prophesied to me before I was born, you see it today. Try and find a successful one who is working in opposition to me. None of you who are trying to aid the devil against me will be successful in doing so. And the devil knows that. He is not trying to do these things himself, only with you. He knows that he will not be successful in stopping my progress. And at him several times his number, as long as I'm with Allah God and he's with me. And that will be all the days of my life. Fire fed with feud. The subject of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran. Chapter 85, verse 5. We do not hope for peace as long as we add to the war, that which serve as a fuel to a fire. The fire cannot go out as long as we keep it burning by adding more fuel. A dying burning fire is increased when more fuel is thrown into it. There are lots of people who are so anxious for peace so that they can return to committing that which they love and lack, idling, sport, and play. The world that we live in desires first of all to hide the truth, to keep the black man who is made blind, deaf, and dumb by the scientific trigonometry of the right race, so that the right race can continue to carry on the same deceiving and wickedness that they have been practicing. How can we, my brothers and sisters, expect peace when the method used to bring about peace is the same method that started the war, instead of finding the right solution and then practicing this right solution? I said these things for the sake of my own black people, for they are so ignorant to the knowledge of the truth of the time in which we are living. What they would like to do cannot be done. For the time to even continue to do what you are doing is up. So just like when Jesus says in Matthew 24, 38 and 39, people will be partying, drinking, gambling, going about their day. So all of a sudden, they didn't see when that cloud started to set in, when that cloud started darkening, and when it actually started to rain. See, people pay no attention to the sign of the hour. See, it would be like the day of Noah, the day of Lot, and so shall it be with the coming of the Son of Man. We must remember again the prediction of the Bible. It has foretold these times. If we understand the Bible, my brothers and sisters, see, the Bible is just not a fiction. You're going to realize that it's an event that's being fulfilled. See, it's not just a fiction book that you can just throw away and put to the side. No. Things, my brothers and sisters, is being fulfilled right between our eyes. So we must remember again the prediction of the Bible. It has foretold these times. If we understand the Bible, it must certainly teach us that there is no peace for this wicked. There is no people who preach such a thing as peace and as being true followers of the prophet Jesus, as much as the right Christians do. See, day and night, their airways are full of their preaching. To hear them, you would think that they are the prophet Moses and Aaron, as the word of Jesus put it. They said in Moses' seat. The right Christians are great deceivers. The Pope of Rome cannot bring peace to the Christian church, for he is not enjoying peace himself. So who is that people then that the Bible prophesies of in the book of Isaiah, that he will extend peace to them like rivers? Surely it cannot be the present Christian right race, for they are the ones who are breaking the peace. See, fire fed with feud. Leaving your own home and country. You go to another man's home and country to make trouble for that people. Then accuse that people of being a troublemaker. It is the attacker who is guilty of that which follows the attack. I said to you, black brothers, you can get away from that old misunderstanding of the time. You are not living a time in which you may be expecting a settlement of the war that you always have been used to. Sport, play, and foolishness. So I read that again. You are not living in a time in which you may be expecting a settlement of war that would give you what you had always been used to: sport, play, and foolishness. So you have to understand, he's not going to give you a settlement. Kiss that, I hate to say it like this, kiss that restitution goodbye. He's not here to give you that. They only, they only want to give you no stimulus, man. So you get all these people making videos saying what the President Trump going to do. But yet they can't back up the claim. Y'all don't hear them talking about it. So you hear them talking about it, then start making a video. Don't make a video and get people hopes up, man. See, we don't want y'all coming to us. When things start hitting the fan, see, most black people do. They continue, to fall right into their desires. They continue to be a helping hand when you see the judgment is right in your face. So I want to give you a Revelation 18 verse 4. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her ways of life. You must come out of, because if you're going to remain with her, then you're going to be right along with her doom. If you're going to remain with her. So, brothers and sisters, actually, now is this time that you and I should be wise enough to understand that we should think for self and do for self. If you do not know how to do for self, you should follow the man to whom Allah God has given that knowledge to teach you how to do for self. And see, this is why the black man must know himself. See, we cannot be a small band of people. We nothing but a small family at the end of the day. The black people don't even know themselves because we live with this hatred that the devil has put on us. And we are no more than what we are, a small family. You see, our problem must be solved, says the God of righteousness, the God of freedom, justice, and equality. So this is why the black man must rise to occasion. And he must, in this time, he must know himself. See, the resurrection, you see, it's not teaching you that the dead shall rise and walk about. That's so much nonsense. See, practicing, reading this resurrection is we, my brothers and sisters, will rise from our mental death. So you got to realize who God is. And you have to discover who this devil is and name the beast that he was. And it's like Joseph, once he became a slave. So if you do not know how to do for self, you should follow the man to whom Allah, God, has given that knowledge to teach you how to do for self. With the ocean filled with the fleets of the right Christian and the sky crowded with their death, dealing planes over other people's territories, could you tell them that they should submit to you for peace? If you are able to force them to their knees or to destroy them, then I say yes. If that was the situation, then I will say that they should submit and let you trumpet. But you cannot force them to their knees. They have been preparing for a war like this for nearly a century. Well, I should say they have been preparing and working faithfully for half a century to entertain the attacker the same type of weapons and better weapons than the weapons you are attacking them with. If you resort to worse weapons, they have worse weapons also. So we are in a time when arguments to the contrary of peace is like heaping fuel on a fire. It keeps it burning. We are living in an evil time. I believe, and maybe many hundreds of thousands believe as I do, that the presidents of the United States of America have good intentions towards the citizens of America. When he took over the presidency, the times against him for the past 4,000 years and more, Allah God has always given the prophecy to the mouth of his prophets of the doom of the wicked. Now it is the time when we cannot do anything but take it. It is a dangerous to add fuel to unwanted fire. The fire is the war. See, man heart filling with fear. Now how true the prophecy of Jesus, Luke 21, 25, and 26. It says here concerning this present time, we bear witness that the seas and ocean are warring, and that fear is now covering the nation as shown by unusual heart failures that is now occurring among man. These are the signs of the end of the present world. Now we see the seas and ocean are heaving up into a perplexity that man never seen before. You ain't never seen such of these signs that's coming when the seas and ocean are heaving up tidal waves to a magical height that man never seen before. See, this is another pledge that's on the wicked. See, when the wicked always think that they are mightier than God, when they always think that they can thwart his plan until he comes, who right it is to rule. Now I want you to know, never no more. And I mean never no more will the earth will be let out to these non-owners. They can't subdue the earth because they don't have power to subdue the earth. These rather meteorologists and scientists is far off and fail to tell you what's coming. Many of these ignorant people think this is rather manipulation because they don't believe in a God. They don't believe in a God coming that he's in control of the heavens and earth. See, they don't believe in God. So you just got 4 people that's left out. When they hear God, they want to run. They want to run like fleas and moths. They want to hide. They want to run. Yes, run. Because what Isaiah says in chapter 2:19, the people will flee to the cage in the ground from the fearful presence of the Lord and the splendor of his majesty when he come to rise the earth. You see, the seas and ocean are heaving up tidal waves to unmatchable heights that man has never witnessed before on earth. See, this is another pledge that's upon the wicked. Since the Holy Quran teaches that the judgment will be such that the earth itself will act as though a revelation has been revealed to his because of his perfect obedience to the laws of Allah on that day. Allah will use the power that is in the earth and on the sea against the world of evil. The right race think that they have control of the power of the earth, sea, and air. It was prophesied that for a time they would subdue and have the use of the power of the sea and ocean until he comes who right it is to rule. The heaven and earth belongs to Allah God. Now it's his time to rule. There is much prophecy concerning the terribleness of the judgment of the wicked. The power that is in the water is in the hands of Allah God to use against whom he pleases. The earth, wind, rain, snow, and ice, and earthquakes are controlled by Allah God. It is a fearful sight to see the displays of his power, the force of nature, violent, submitting to his will. I shall warn you that this is now coming into action against the Western world. There will be destruction of whole fleets at seas. Those which are capable of lying on the ocean sea bottom will be destroyed. The die is set with a foolish people who, like in the time of Noah, could not see the sign of the rain, bringing on the flood. Even after the cloud began to darken the sky, they did not see the oncoming rain until it actually started to rain. So it is with America. They paid no attention to the sign of the judgment that is now taking place, as the Bible prophesies in Revelation 16:9. They blaspheme the name of God, which has power over these pledges. How many in America and the city of Chicago disbelieve, even mock, and swear at the name of Allah, who have power over the force of nature, land, sea, and air? Allah God is now doing as is prophesied. The Holy Quran, Surah 13:41, visiting the land and curtain it of its sides. The foolish still are foolish until he is cast into a narrow place, cannot turn to the right or left, as it was. The donkey that Balaam was right. He came to a narrow place between two walls. He could not turn around. He had to stop face to face with angels or be destroyed. The Bible, Numbers 22, 23, and 26. Let it be remembered that Allah God came forth for the redemption to deliver the American black people from their tormentors. Whether we like it or not, he would do this. This is the work of Allah God, which is in effect. Let America use the history of the fall and destruction of ancient Egypt and of Pharaoh. Let their history serve as a warning. They were brought to nothing for evil done to a people whom Allah God has chosen. For example, of these last days, the law found black slave and their slave masters. The Holy Quran, Surah 30:41, is perfectly true in its prediction of a present-day nation, sea, and land. Power. Corruption has appeared in the land and the seas on account of that, which man's hands have made. The most great mistake that the black man is making today is just trying to hold on to the brief and return of Jesus, and that he lived and preached the saving of the white man's world. See, this is false. See, Jesus did not preach this. See, Jesus had a few disciples. Jesus also cursed the Jews, not to mention that he was trying to save them, or the Caucasian people. They are teaching a trickology that the white man used to deceive the black man. They do this so that our people will not understand that Jesus declared himself against the world or the Caucasian race, the Bible. He also declared that the word of truth had no place in this right race of people. They have proved this to be the truth by the mistreatment of you and me. The white race had never worshipped any prophets before, after this, as the divine man of Allah God. It's against their very nature to do this. That is why they kill all the prophets that they are able to kill. They deceive the people against believing in the prophets of Allah God, for they was made in their nature to be the enemies of God and his representatives. Before the time is out, They will be forced into submission to the will of Allah God. This will not be done for the purpose of converting the right race. Allah God will force them into submission to prove that He is able to make everything bow to Him in submission. This is a fulfillment to prophecy, the Bible, Isaiah 45:23, and to me every knee shall bow and every tongue shall swear. The Bible says in Matthew 25:32, and before Him shall we be gather all nations. The Holy Quran has a similar prophecy that you shall see all nations kneeling before Him. This includes everybody, regardless to their color. Everything in the universe obeyed a natural law, in which it was made subject to by Allah God. On the coming of Allah God, and now makes everything bow to Him, whether you believe it or disbelieve it. Holy Quran, Surah chapter 3:82, does not make a difference to Him. Whether you are the devil or the righteous, all must bow in submission to the will of Allah God. On the judgment day, we are now living in a day of judgment. Black preachers, you erase your time and leading yourself and those who follow you to hell by holding on to Christianity. Revelation 19:20 cannot keep them in Christianity. Christianity was not the religion of Jesus, Moses, or any other prophet who came before them. It had been a fierce on a part of Allah God to have waited until just 2,000 years ago to give the right religion to the world of man. Allah God give the right religion, Islam, in the beginning of His creation of the heavens and earth. Allah God has not changed. His religion is Islam, entire submission to His will. Hell erupts. Why are the nations angry, and who are the nations that are angry at the resurrection of the dead? 18th verse of the 11th chapter of the Revelation in the Bible plainly teaches us that these nations are angry and mad because of the rise of the dead, and that God Himself was the source of the power behind the resurrection of a rise of a mentally dead people, the black man. It is these slaveholders who have been the real cause of a mental death of the people the Revelation relates to as being deprived of justice. God comes to give them justice and to justify them as being equal to their slave masters as human beings. As you know, from the 400 years of legal slavery and free slavery of the American so-called Negro, they have never been recognized even as a human being. As one devil says, they are only 3/5 of a human being. It is true that the history of our treatment by the devil's slave master practically made our parents and ourselves less than human beings. This is why I teach that the main right we should seek first are human rights. The American so-called Negro flew in love with his slave master and his slave master children because it unlike attracted them and their brothers in Africa. Therefore, the manifestation of the enemy, the devil, and the resurrection makes the dead to see that which caused them to be mentally dead. And the parable of the donkey who plotted out meeting with the angels and saw that the burden he had been carrying on his back was false. Balaam. So, and the resurrection of a mentally dead so-called Negro. They are rising to acknowledge itself. This knowledge make them mute or refuse to continue to carry the slave master as something to worship. This have angered the slave master as the donkey refused to anger Balaam. Balaam set about whooping and beating the donkey to force him, as unusual, to carry and respect him as his master. This use of force to compel the one slave, the black American, to remain with them even now in order to make them members of society is only false recognition of the black American, this lost and now found people of the black nation of Asia and Africa. This continuous cruelty by the white slave master inflicted upon the American so-called Negro have angered God as the cruelty the Egyptian inflicted upon the Israelites during the time of Pharaoh angered Jehovah. This is a repetition of Israel history and of Pharaoh evil in these modern times and appearance of Jehovah and of Moses, the servants of Jehovah, to announce to Pharaoh the end of Israel slavery. Pharaoh became angry and went to work and tried to instruct and bring to nothing Jehovah's delivery of Israel through his servant Moses. This brought Pharaoh to his end, and he and his army was cast into the Red Sea, because they tried to prevent the freeing of Israel by the God Jehovah. The angry nation refers to white America and European who are also enslavers of the black man. Take, for instance, the part that England, Germany, France, and Italy had all played in enslavement of black Africa and black people throughout Africa, Asia, and here in America, North and South America. There is no such thing in the nature of white people as justice and freedom for black people, especially not for black in a Western hemisphere. Now, the anger is running them mad, and they are attacking, killing each other. There is no such thing as peace amongst them, nor can they produce peace for others. The Holy Quran refers to this condition as the kind of fire. Surah 81, verse 12. Never before have you witnessed the evil that is spreading far and wide every hour of the day in America and Europe. England and America being not the first, but the chief slave makers of black people. They disliked the idea of having a lie disposed of their power over the Negro, though they knew this was coming, the loss of their slave. This is the time of increase of knowledge. God has given the black man of America more light into this increase of divine knowledge. Any black elsewhere, because he chose to make for himself a great nation out of the former slaves of America. While America is angry at God for resurrecting the black slave to acknowledge herself and enslaved, this means that they are entering into a war with Almighty God Allah to try to oppose the truth of God preached by the messenger of God. Read the second Psalms. The Great Commotion. The Great Commotion of the governments and people of America, the civil unrest, insurrection, mental excitement, and noisy confusion. There is no action that is being taken, nor can there be any action taken that will bring the people into a better condition of civil actions. The white American people have practiced evil, injustice to the man in the mud, the black slave, for so long that they think that there will never be any divine action taken against them for such evil and injustice. But this is what is now affecting, and it is the action of divine justice for the poor man, black slave. Allah God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, has the power, and he's using his power on the wicked to bring them to their knees. Allah God is the greatest, and there is no equal to him. Allah God can take us by our own way of thinking and spin us as though we are a play toy. We cannot fight a successful fight against him. He is too powerful. He listens in on our thinking. He is capable of making us to think and to do that which he desired to be done. A great commotion today is witnessed by the nation of the earth. For it is America whom Allah God is after for a mistreatment of the poor so-called Negro, the law found with no black members of their nation. America mistreat and kill her black slave for sport. America's days is drawing to a close, and she will not have the freedom to mistreat the black slave much longer. As the mistreatment of Egyptian practice against Israel came to end, so will the mistreatment of the black slave by white America come to end. America have so blind and made deaf dumb the black man America, her black one slave, that she makes empty promises to the black slave. You accept her false promise and forsake the true promise of Allah God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, who is here often as heaven at once. The great commotion will continue in America until this commotion has been destroyed. The power of oppositions. The disaster. The title of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran, Surah 101, 1 through 4. The disaster. What is the disaster? What will make you know how terrible is the disaster? In the English language, according to the Westford Dictionary, the word disaster means a state of deep distress, misery caused by major misfortune, and loss are a great event marked by great loss and lasting distress and infliction. Such disaster is now prevalent in America. It's getting worse daily. The third verse of this chapter of the Holy Quran, we see Surah 101, verse 3 asks a question. It will make you know how terrible is the disaster. The answer is given in the fourth verse. The day wherein man will be as scattered as moths. We do not have to ask anyone whether or not this warning of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. We see the fulfillment of this prophecy with our eyes and hear with our ears. These great disasters that are now striking America. We see the great division, the great disagreement, disunity, and murder of men. We see the great amount of raping and murdering of girls and women. There is great robbery and thieves going on every hour of the day and night. There are great storms and adverse weather conditions. There are minor earth tremors and hailstorms. There are signs and wonders of signs being displayed in the heaven and earth and on sea and land. There's unusual behavior of children. There's unusual love or dislike of children by mothers and fathers and destruction of the process of childbirth. There is the great disaster of starvation and great disaster of health and life by the use and administering of poison drugs, which is practiced upon those who are free and those who are bound. What had been known as America is threatened today with total destruction. America is destroying herself in her effort to destroy her black slave. The water and air of America are being polluted by chemical use. America's Scientists Award conducts dreadful experiments on how best to kill human beings by the millions and wipe out the life of whole continents. These are the days fulfillment of prophecy of not one, but of many disasters. And all of these preparation of destruction of human life. But the devil, Allah God, too, has planned to save his people. Allah God has claimed over the black slave as being his people. And the white slaveholder is angry because of the loss of the black slave by the virtue of this claim. Allah God comes to take the black slave away from the enemy, white slaveholders, and join the black slave into his own kind. Again, the enemy white slaveholders hates this, but Allah God has the power to force the enemy white slaveholders to submit to his will. It is the will of Allah God that the enemy white slaveholders let these black slaves go free. Allah God promised concerning the white slaveholders and the black slave. The Bible, Isaiah 43, verse 6. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my son from afar and my daughters from the end of the earth. America, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys shortly. Shalom to you. Assalamu alaikum. Keep your heads up.